Welcome back to Le Podcast de Philippe. Today we're diving into something I know you've been hearing a lot about, ChatGPT and how much energy it uses.
It's definitely been a hot topic.
Yeah, I remember seeing those early reports claiming that ChatGPT used like 10 times more electricity than just doing a regular Google search.
Oh yeah, those were pretty alarming.
But are those claims really accurate? Like, is ChatGPT really that much of an energy hog?
Well, that's what we're going to find out today, right? We're going to look at the latest research and compare those early assumptions to what we know now with new findings and even newer technology.
Exactly. So if you're listening and enjoying this deep dive, remember, we'd love to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube today. Now, getting back to ChatGPT, I know there have been some studies that suggest its energy consumption might not be as bad as initially thought.
Yeah, there was that study by Epoch AI.
Right. What do they find?
Well, their research showed that an average ChatGPT query uses about 0.3 watt-hours of energy.
Okay, so what does that mean in comparison to a Google search?
Turns out it's actually pretty comparable.
Really?
Yeah. So those early estimates were way off.
So why were those initial reports so high? What were they missing?
Well, a few things. I think one of the biggest things was they assumed those servers running ChatGPT were constantly maxed out, using the older Nvidia H100 chips.
Oh, okay.
Plus, they didn't really factor in the time that the servers are just sitting idle between requests. Not to mention the new hardware, like the Nvidia H100 chips. They are so much more efficient, like 60% more efficient than the older ones.
So new hardware, more realistic usage patterns. Anything else?
Actually, yeah. There's also the fact that ChatGPT responses tend to be shorter on average than initially predicted.
So less processing power, less energy.
Exactly. And as I said, those servers aren't actually running at 100% all the time, like they assumed. There's natural downtime between requests.
Got it. So 0.3 watt-hours. I'm not sure I'd really understand what that means. Can we put that into perspective?
Sure. Think about charging your iPhone 15 every day.
Yeah.
That takes roughly 4.7 watt-hours. Oh. Or an hour of watching television, that uses up about 120 watt-hours.
So compared to those things, a single ChatGPT query is using a tiny amount of energy.
It is. But it's important to remember that we're just talking about individual queries. When you consider all the ChatGPT queries happening worldwide,
then it starts to add up.
Exactly. The projected annual energy consumption for ChatGPT is estimated to be around 226.8 gigawatt hours.
Wow. Okay.
And to put that into perspective, that's about the same amount of energy it takes to fully charge over 3 million electric cars.
So even though individual queries might not be that energy intensive, the cumulative effect is definitely something to consider.
Yeah, for sure. And on top of that, this energy consumption is predicted to basically double by 2026 as more and more industries adopt AI.
That's a pretty significant increase. Is there any hope for reducing this growing energy demand from AI systems? Like, are there any solutions on the horizon?
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of research being done right now focusing on optimizing energy consumption. For example, OpenAI, DeepSeek, Mistral, they're all looking into energy-efficient reasoning models.
Interesting. Are there any specific examples of these models?
Yeah, one promising one is called O3 Mini. It has the potential to significantly reduce energy usage.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
But I imagine there are some challenges in balancing, making AI more powerful while also trying to make it more energy efficient.
Oh, absolutely. One of the main challenges is that as AI models get more complex and capable, they just naturally require more energy to operate. Think of models like DeepSeek R1 and OpenAI O1.
What are those?
They're designed for more in-depth and structured responses, so naturally they need more energy to run compared to simpler models. It's a real balancing act, finding ways to make them more efficient without sacrificing performance.
It sounds like it. So we've got this push and pull between wanting more powerful AI and trying to minimize its impact on the environment.
Exactly. And it's a conversation we need to be having as we move forward with AI development.
Definitely. Well, we've already learned so much today, and I'm sure there's a lot more to come.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting started. It really is. It makes you think, how do we push AI to be more powerful without, totally disregarding its impact on the planet?
That's a really good point. And we know ChatGPT queries use about the same energy as a Google search, but do they actually work in the same way?
Not really. Google search works off this giant index of information, like everything's pre-categorized and organized. So when you type in a search, their algorithms just scan that database for relevant results super fast.
Right, like having a massive library at your fingertips.
Exactly. But with ChatGPT, you're getting unique responses in real time.
So it's not just pulling from a database.
Right. It's more like you're having a conversation with somebody who has access to tons of information and can, like, synthesize it into a response that makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense. But wouldn't these AI models need even more energy as they get more advanced and can handle more complex stuff?
Well, yeah, that's a valid concern, and it brings up a really important question. How do we balance the potential of AI with, the need for sustainable development?
We don't want to limit innovation, but we also can't ignore the potential environmental impact. So what can we do as individuals, aside from, supporting le podcast de Philippe, of course?
Well, I think staying informed is huge. The more we understand about this technology, the better we'll be able to make good decisions about its development and how we use it.
Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
So beyond staying informed, what else?
Don't be afraid to ask questions. When you see a new AI tool or service, think about its environmental footprint. Does the company actually care about sustainability? Are they transparent about how much energy their products use?
Good point. We should definitely be holding these companies accountable.
Absolutely. And don't forget, our choices as individuals can have an impact. Simple things like using energy-efficient appliances, or even just being mindful of our plastic usage, supporting companies that prioritize sustainability, these things all add up.
It's a team effort. We all have a role to play in making sure that technology advances responsibly, hand in hand with, taking care of our planet. This deep dive has been, it's been really insightful.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, and who knew that a simple question about energy consumption would lead to this bigger discussion about AI and its impact on the environment?
It really goes to show you that even the simplest questions can lead to some really profound discussions, especially when it comes to a field like AI that's constantly evolving.
Definitely. And it's so important to stay informed and participate in these conversations if we want to ensure AI is used for the benefit of humanity and our planet.
You got it.
Yeah.
It is, and it seems like the more AI becomes part of our lives, the more we need to be talking about, both the good and the bad.
Yeah, for sure. We have to really think about those trade-offs, the potential benefits, but also those potential drawbacks, and really advocate for using AI responsibly.
Couldn't agree more. This whole deep dive has really given me a lot to think about.
Me too, honestly. It's pretty amazing, right? How a basic question about how much energy ChatGPT uses turns into this whole conversation about AI and what it means for the planet.
It really highlights that even when you start with what seems like a straightforward question about AI, you end up having these really important and complex discussions, especially because AI is changing so fast.
It all comes back to staying informed, right? If we want to use AI to benefit everyone and protect the planet, we have to keep learning and engaging in these conversations.
Exactly.
Well, I think we've covered a ton of ground today, from debunking some of those early ideas about ChatGPT's energy use to getting into the nitty-gritty of how AI is developed and its environmental impact.
We definitely have, and it's clear that this is a conversation that's going to keep going.
Absolutely. And a huge thanks to all our listeners for joining us today on Le Podcast de Philippe.
And hey, remember, every like, every comment, every share helps us get the word out and keep these important conversations going.
And while you're at it, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers today, and your support makes a huge difference. Until next time, stay curious, everyone.
And stay informed.